Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show, WH Squared.
What's happening?
We are here today to continue to talk about this Alchemist, man, this life-changing book, this book that, man, add it to your collection, put it into your storehouse. Make sure you share it with the kids later on in life, man. But I am your host, ERGJ, certified financial educator, and so much more to me. And we have our Mr. Beedles in the building.
What's going on, everybody? This is Mr. Beedles, your wealthy, healthy, happy financial planner and your small business developer, and so much more as well. But just excited to be here, ERGJ.
Yes, excited to be here, man. And so this week, guys, what we decided, we were going to be a little bit more structured in our approach to this thing, man. And I'm not quite sure how fast we're going to get through it, but we're going to have a lot more talking points. And we've been doing a few different things to see if that helps, because I recognize that everyone doesn't necessarily have the book. But there's nothing wrong with still having a conversation and inviting you guys to join in on the conversation. So if you don't have the book, or you're interested in at least listening to the audio clip, we've got clips available for the things that we'll be talking about in advance. So I'm doing clips every day. We'll have that on our site. And then also, if you join us early, like say 10 minutes early, then we'll play the clip before the show. So then that way, if you need to be refreshed on what we'll be discussing, or give you an opportunity to let the things just refresh in your brain, some of those points that you might have wanted to make, or anything like that. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot. Because obviously it's 7 in the morning. You might have just been waking up, and you might not have it fresh on your brain. So it's good to listen to it before we discuss it when we get started. So where we are, let's maybe do a quick summary. We're talking about The Alchemist. The Alchemist is a book by Paulo Coelho. It's about a young boy that's going on a journey to find his treasure. He is transitioning from where he is into where he is going, and he continues to contemplate on going back, but he continues to move forward. And so what this book is about, it's about progress. And we learned from The Strangest Secret, what we started with was that success is defined as the progressive realization,
that's right,
of a worthy ideal. And so the first thing I want to say to you guys is that as long as you are making progress, you are successful. Let me say that again. As long as you are making progress, you're successful. Matter of fact, I want to make sure that this year in 2016, and I surround myself with people who are making progress. In other words, people who are putting in the effort, and people who are actually making some moves and going forward. I don't care whether you have arrived or not. All I care about is that you're going in the right direction.
That's right.
I don't care whether you have arrived or not. What I care about is that you're going in the right direction. And these are the type of people that I want to be surrounded with. Why? Because they are moving. They're not just talking, they are actually moving, and you can see it in their life. You can see it in their actions. You can actually see the physical moving water. And like Bruce Lee said, that we should be like water.
Yeah. What do you know about Bruce? That's my guy right there.
So Santiago, where we find him at as we move into part 2 of the book, is that now he has reached this strange land. And last week, when we left off, he was saying that, well, it is no longer strange, but it is new. It is no longer strange, but it is new. So after he got robbed, and he found himself in a strange place, and he found himself in a place where he didn't know the language, he didn't have any money, he couldn't go back, he couldn't go forward, he was kind of stuck. The way that he changed direction, the way that he picked back up, the way that he set his sail was by changing his perspective on his situation. So now he is like, okay, it's strange and it's new, but guess what? That's what comes along with being a traveler. Remember that Santiago's purpose was to travel the land. So now he is traveling, and anytime you travel to somewhere new, it's going to feel like it's strange, but he's looking at it like a new frontier, a new opportunity, a new land to conquer. And so now he is in a place where he has to sustain himself. And so he has made he provided some service to a glass maker and cleaned up some crystal, and he ended up getting a job. So that's where we pick up with Santiago. He now has a job, selling crystal glass, and for a glass maker. Now, today, what we're going to find out, or maybe some things that we're going to discuss, is that there is a big difference between Santiago and this glass maker, and any conflict, but I think as we compare their mentalities to life, where they are in life right now, obviously the glassmaker's probably older. It didn't say how old he was, but I'd imagine he's an older guy. He's been in this shop for 30 years, and it's when Santiago enters the shop is at a place of stagnation. Makes a couple different sales here and there, stays afloat, but is really not thriving. And what we find is that Santiago's entered the picture, and he begins to provide fresh and new ideas, which are starting to help this shop to thrive again. Mr. Beedles.
Yes, sir. Look, let's back up just a little bit, because I think it's important to highlight what happened like right after Santiago lost his sheep. Right. So he was in this strange land, and he had met this guy that he didn't really trust too well, this unfamiliar guy. And what I thought was real valuable about that situation is that Santiago knew that he was in a position that he was unfamiliar with, and he was around somebody that he didn't necessarily trust, but because it was so unfamiliar to him, he didn't want to appear ignorant. He didn't want to appear unconfident. He didn't want to appear untrusting. And so he kind of allowed things to unfold, but all the while he was about to lose his sheep. And so he makes a huge mistake, he makes a bad financial decision, right? And in my practice, I find when I sit down with the husband and the wife, we find that they've made some bad financial decisions, and they spend 10, 12, 15 years in just a series of bad habits. And then all of a sudden they know that they're making these bad habits or these bad choices along the way. And then all of a sudden they look up and there's no money in the bank account. Right. And then they're embarrassed to come to a financial planner because they know that they've been messing up. And that's kind of what Santiago felt. And so he lost everything. He lost all his sheep. And then he finds himself like, damn, what do I do? Right? He felt like, man, I was doing everything that I wanted to do. I was herding my sheep. I was enjoying life, and I lose it all. And now what do I do? Now responsibility sets in. Now I have to figure it out. And that's where we find ourselves a lot of times, right? You're trying to build this business and you're trying to figure it out. You've lost everything. You've made some bad decisions. You're trying to figure it out. How do I get back on the right road? How do I right my ship? And he decides that, look, I'm not going to panic. I'm going to figure this thing out. He pulls 2 stones out of his pockets that reminds him of the old king that told him that life is going to present some challenges, but know that you are on the right path. And so I'm sharing that with those that are on the show today, that are tuning in and listening. Know that although you probably have made some bad decisions, you made some bad choices. Maybe you're an aspiring entrepreneur. Maybe you already have a business, and but things just aren't shaping up the way that you want. And because life has hit you in your face, you gotta sit still for a minute, like Santiago does when he finds the merchant and he begins to clean the glass. He has to sit for a moment and rethink some things so that he can get himself back on his path and start following his personal legend again.
And I want you to, even on top of that, even along with that, what Santiago decided to do, even though he needed help, he decided to help other people. Even though Santiago was in a position where he needed help, he decided to help other people. His blessing, or his reward, his opportunity came from him helping other people in a time when he needed help. He was helping the candy maker to set up his shop, and the candy maker ended up giving him some candy. He was helping the glass maker, to clean up glass that's probably been sitting there for years, and then he ended up getting a job. And so his reward came from service. And his reward for service came out of the service that he gave out of his need. He gave out of his need and he got rewarded. It's something
That's going
about
the extra. Yeah, that's going to. Earl Nightingale says that's going the extra mile, right? So he says you have to have a definite major purpose, and so he knew what his major purpose was. He was going to Egypt. He got some treasure that he's got to get to. Period. And the second thing is he said, "Man, I am going to go the extra mile. Whatever it is going on in your life. What you have to do is you have to still seek to serve." And you have to do more than you're getting paid for. And when you do more than you're getting paid for, you get noticed. And when you get noticed, doors of opportunity open up. And when doors of opportunity open up, the skies are the limits, baby. They are the limits. So seek to serve.
You know I'm changing the title real quick.
All right. So while he's changing
the
title.
So here we go, guys. All right, so going the extra mile, seek to serve. All right, so here's the deal. All right, so Santiago, he's working as a crystal merchant, and the first thing we come across in this passage that he recognizes that this is the kind of job that will not make him happy over time. He's doing a job that he realizes that, man, I'm not going to be happy doing this for the rest of my life. I'm not going to be happy doing this for a long time. But he recognizes that what he is doing for a living, what he is doing to create the opportunity to continue along with his journey is only temporary. Now, why is that important? Because there are some of us right now who recognize that what we're doing is only temporary. But even though it's only temporary, we still need to take advantage of the opportunity that is in front of us. And see, for some of us, this job that we have, it is an opportunity. And it gives you the income to finance your journey. See, Santiago, he still had a definite major purpose. He still had somewhere that he had to go, but he recognized that he needed money and to get there. Now he had an opportunity to use the income that was coming in from this job that he knew was not going to make him happy, but that didn't keep him from doing the work.
Oh, that right there that is the formula. I'm gonna tell you, that is the formula. I would say all the successes that I've received in all of the different careers that I've had and the business that I'm currently building now is knowing that although this may be this may be a moment in time, not knowing necessarily sometimes how long that moment is going to be, but looking at this as an opportunity to, one, improve myself, but then two, to serve and improve to improve the standing of whatever business or organization that I'm in. So always be seeking to leave a situation better than it was before you got
there. Yes.
That's the whole goal. I don't care what it is. I don't care how long I'm going to be there. While I'm there, my attitude is going to be, I'm going to be grateful for whatever the situation is, because that just makes it easy for me. I don't have any resistance there. Right. And when I don't have resistance, then I can see the opportunity, because there is a reason why you are in the situation that you're in. There's some gifts and some talents that you have. There's some resources that you have that only you have. And when you allow yourself to connect to whatever your situation is, whatever the job is, the project, the volunteering opportunity, your home situation, right? Maybe you're the one that is better at finances than your spouse, but you've let your spouse do it for a long time just because, I don't know, you don't want to do it. But you keep complaining about the money not being right, but you got to take control. Sometimes you got to take advantage of the situation and some things that you're just really good at. And you have to put yourself in position to use your gifts. And in using your gifts, again, the door is open.
Door is open. So here's a question I got for you guys. And I always provide the questions to ponder. And so as you begin your day to day, or you continue along with your day today, here's a question I want you to think about. How can I make my situation better? What can I do to make this situation better? How can I help this business, this job, this situation, this relationship? What can I do to make it thrive? You want to leave every situation better after you leave than it was when you arrive. How can I help? That's 4 words I think you should go to your boss today. You should go to your spouse today. You should go to your children today. You should go to your friends today and ask them, how can I help? these 4 words changes the landscape of the relationship. These 4 words show that you're willing to go the extra mile. These 4 words show that you're willing to do more than what you're paid to do, so that you can show the character of the person that you're becoming. Let me say that again. The 4 words show that you're willing to do more than what you're paid to do, so you can show the character of the person that you're becoming. How can I help?
Jesus.
I mean, just imagine the people that come to you instead of saying, what can you give? And they ask you, how can I help? How can I help? These 4 words are just as powerful as this too shall pass. How can I help?
Yeah, so true. Because what you're saying is look, I'm seeking to understand what's most important to you. That truly is what you're saying. How can I help you? Right. So when you go to Chick-fil-A, the reason why you go to Chick-fil-A is because they have outstanding customer service, amazing customer service. It's a chicken stand, but the reason why it does so well, and the reason why you tend to go back to a Chick-fil-A if you have one in your area, is because of the customer service, because they are willing to help. They are truly seeking to understand and then to meet a need. And so we can take that situation into whatever relationship that we have. And if you are in a relationship, I would say that would be the best place to start, is how can I help? What can I do for you today? You need some water, a little coffee, a little foot rub, a shoulder massage. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to understand that the people that are closest to us are our most important customer. They're our most important customer. And those are the people that we need to be seeking to help first. And that would include the kids as well. How can I help? And when we start understanding what is most important to our most important customer, we start seeing ourselves evolved, right? The ego, we start removing the ego, and we start introducing service and love and understanding. And then in return, you get everything that you want. All the stuff that you want comes to you.
Yeah, like Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough other people get what they want, you can have everything in life that you want. So, of course, we're going through the Alchemist, man. And, we do have open seats available. So it is an opportunity for you now to jump in. And I believe that everyone has a voice. And if you like, you can let your voice be heard and share your thoughts on some things that you're hearing today. Now, Santiago, as he is here in this job, he gets inspired. And the inspiration comes in the form of an idea. Again, the inspiration comes in the form of an idea. Sometimes all you need is an idea. Now, his idea was to build a display case. And so he presented this to the merchant, and it's interesting their thoughts on it. The person with the idea is like, hey, man, if we do this, we can sell more stuff. And he's focused on what we can gain, what we can get out of it. Like, in other words, he's saying, hey, if we sell more stuff, I'll get more money. And if I get more money, I can get out of here faster. Right? But the merchant is thinking about what can be lost. Man, if we put up a case, people are going to bump into it and they're going to break the glass. And so he's like, it's the perspective on the idea is different from each of the individuals. One person is thinking about what they can gain and attain, and one person is thinking about the loss. And so I would ask you today, where is your mindset as it relates to the things that you do? Do you focus more on what can be lost? Do you focus more on the risk? Or do you focus more on the reward? Because everything that you do in life, every decision that you make in life, it comes with either a risk or a reward. And what it boils down to is your perspective. Are you going to focus on the reward, or are you going to focus on the risk?
Look, I'm gonna tell you something that was deep about that that idea that formed, right? Is because Santiago, he saw it in his mind first, right? The crystal was not outside of the shop until he saw it in his mind. Once he saw the idea, he saw it so clear that when he presented it to the owner, although he was a little worried, he said, you know what? I'm gonna run with it. And it ended up being successful because he had enough courage to see it and then speak it and then share the idea. So again, I'm sharing with all those that are on the call. Somebody got to jump in, and Brittany Moore, hey, it's about time. It's about time to get in. It's about time you get in that hot seat. But But for those that have ideas, for those that you've been writing stuff down on paper, you've been on your job, you've been an entrepreneur for a while, and there's some new things that you want to do this year. I would say have the courage to step forward and write those things down, and then go after them, and then speak them into existence. And then sometimes it's not a boss that you are. Sometimes it's not the boss that you're contending with, but it's the other self. It's the other part of you. It's the worry wart inside of you that says, it's a great idea, but I've lost in the past, right? It's a great idea, but I don't know if I don't know if people are going to come. If I build it, will they come? Maybe, maybe not. But you'll never know unless you try.
If you build it, they definitely will come. Now, here's the interesting thing that once he presented this idea, here was the response from the merchant, because the merchant had saw that the business was doing well ever since Santiago had come. Matter of fact, when Santiago first came and cleaned up some glasses, he got like 3 new customers. So now he's getting new customers. He's having more people come into the shop. He's like, hey, the business is doing well. Here's the question that he asked Santiago. He said, why ask for more out of life? Why ask for more out of life? And I want all of you guys to think about this question, because the merchant is asking you this same question today. Why ask for more out of life? And immediately when I heard that, it made me think about bargaining with life for a penny. So if you have never heard of that, it's a poem. I'm going to read it for you right now. Bargain with life for a penny. It says that it's by Jesse Rittenhouse, I believe. It says, I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is just an employer who gives you what you ask. But once you have set the wages, why you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked of life would have surely paid. Why ask for more out of life?
Anything you ask for, you'll receive. The challenge is having the courage to ask for what you think is impossible, to ask for things that you feel like you don't deserve, right? And that becomes the challenge. Is not that you don't want more. It's not that you don't want to do more, be more, have more. It's just that you're afraid of maybe the responsibility that comes with getting those things. Maybe it's maybe you're the first generation of in your family that would be a millionaire, or that would start their own business, or that would be a PhD or have a degree, a myriad of things, right? It's just having the courage to follow your own personal legend. What's calling you, and do you have the guts? You have the guts. Prepare every day and then go out there and do it.
And so as he asked about why ask more for life, he compared himself to another merchant. And I think sometimes we do this as well. He said that, you know what, there's another merchant down the road who is rich, and the decisions that he makes, he can live with those decisions because he has the more than enough. He has the abundance in order to recoup if those decisions should be mistakes. And he was saying, I don't have that luxury. If I make one mistake, I'm lost. And I thought that was very funny, because sometimes we look at rich people and we think that they can afford to make mistakes, as if at some point in time they weren't rich. They still have to deal with their decisions the same way that we have to deal with our decisions. As a matter of fact, I would say that the reason why they are rich, because they actually took the chance to become rich. They actually took the chance to make the mistakes, and them taking the chance had led them to become as prosperous as they become. Because again, they didn't focus on the risk, they focused on the reward. And that's why we see the people that we may see in our lives today who we say, man, they're rich. They can afford to do some of the things they want. Well, the reason why they can afford to do some of the things that they want, because they made the decisions when they were in the positions that we were in, and they went for it.
That's incredible.
They allowed the newness to come into their life.
Yeah, how many free throws did Michael Jordan miss in practice? You know, how many hours did he put in beforehand? So when you saw him in the game, he was amazing, right? It's the stuff that we do behind the scenes that counts. It are those risks that we take. It are those chances that we take. It's those sacrifices that we make that truly make us great. It's not the stuff. It's not the stuff that happens in broad daylight. It's not it's the shiny wrapper that that the public sees. Is that stuff is cool, but it's what you do in your spare time, what you do in behind closed doors, what you do in your closet. That's the stuff that really matters. The training, the preparation, that's what matters. And you got to take those risks every day.
Absolutely.
Those are the ones.
And so Santiago's response to this was like, well, why ask from wildlife? Why should we do this display case? Why should we capitalize on the momentum that we have going on? And this leads us to the principle of favorability. It's called beginner's luck. And it says like this. He says that, it comes down to responding to the omens. And he said that we have to take advantage when luck is on our side and do as much to help it as it is doing to help us. It's called the principle of favorability. Now, I really want you guys to think about this principle of favorability, and I want you to really ponder on those times where you did something new and it worked, and you didn't continue to capitalize on the momentum that you were building. Maybe you started something fresh. Maybe you started to sell a new product. Maybe you tried something outside of the box, and you're like, man, people actually responded. For example, this show. We started the show just to do something different, to say that, hey, we're not seeing enough positive media outlets doing things to inspire people. We're not seeing enough of it on the channels that we're watching, so we're going to create our own channel. And because we created our own channel, we now have built something, and people like you have come. Well, and we started this, a month and a half ago, right? But the idea of it started almost a year ago,
right?
But now we are capitalizing on the momentum. We are using the principle of favorability to our advantage. We're saying that we're going to help the beginner's luck. We're going to help the luck. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. We're going to use that. We're going to capitalize on that, and we're going to help it along as much as it's helping us. Matter of fact, last night I did a blab, not last night, Saturday night I did a blab. Yeah. Talked about money, and we had crazy amounts of people that showed up on a Saturday night. The principle of favorability told me to do it. And I capitalized on it, and we had a lot. It was amazing. But anyway, I'm not talking about that. But I'm saying there are times that you have probably started something. Miss Kingdom Helper, your blog, for example. Have you been capitalizing on the principle of favorability? Miss Boatwright, with your as a relationship consultant, as your upscale soulmate connections, have you been capitalizing on the principle of favorability? Miss Brittany, you just wrote your New Year's plan. You did something new. Have you been following up on that to capitalize on the principle of favorability? And Trent, I know you like to ask questions. Well, I'm asking you a question. Are you capitalizing on the principle of favorability?
The universe wants you to be successful. You are the reason why you're inspired to do whatever you're doing is because there was an inspiration from the universe. This is what it talks about in The Alchemist. The universe wants you to be inspired. It wants you to achieve your thing. And so sometimes right at the point of failure, right at the point of giving up, all of a sudden you get an omen. All of a sudden you get a sign, a miracle, a wonder, because the universe wants you to be successful. It wants you to succeed. It wants you to show up. It wants you to continue to show up every single day, because that's where it finds joy. That's where you find your joy. And so again, courage is the key, is the theme for me this week. Courage. And you have to have the courage to to set your plan, but then to stick with your plan. So, and then not only stick with the plan, but to do it every single day. Stay committed to it.
So ask yourself, as you're thinking about this principle of favorability, Mr. Beedles just said something. He said that finding your joy. And I want you to think about, where do you find your joy? Again, I just mentioned some things, and I know for um, Miss Kingdom Helper, I know about your blog, and I know that you find joy in writing those, writing on that blog. I wonder how often that you're going back to that place of joy. But I actually just got a contact from someone yesterday who wanted to purchase one of the classes that I teach, and it reminded me of what I love to do, and that is teach people about money. And so he was contacting me from something that was put out, I don't know, a long time ago. And it was like, hey, I want to get this class that you taught. And it was a reminder that I got to get back to doing more of what I love to do, because what I love to do is still not, it's not that it's continuing to sustain me, but it's what I love to do. And it is the principle of favorability. It is the omen that that continues to come to me, that tells me this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's where I find my joy. But where do you find your joy?
That's good.
So Miss Kingdom Helper, if you say that the inspiration comes daily, but you don't write but twice a month, well, what do you do with all that inspiration? You capture it?
Right. Where does it go?
Where does it go?
Where does it go? And as a writer, as a writer myself, I definitely say that you want to strike while the iron is hot, while the idea hits you. And it's almost like you're streaming information from somewhere else, right? So it kind of comes from out here, and then it ends up, it hits your mind, and then all of a sudden it comes through your pen, or if you're typing, it comes down on paper. But when you have those divine sparks of inspiration, write them down. And it doesn't matter how it comes out. Don't edit, try not to edit the inspiration, the raw inspiration. Just try to capture it while you are in the moment. And what you'll find is that your blogs will be so much better. They'll have so much more content, and they'd be more valuable for you if you took all of that raw inspiration and you package it, and then when it's time for you to produce it, you have much more content. And so you'll probably find yourself not doing 2 blogs a month, but probably many more than that, simply because you caught the inspiration when it first hit you.
But it looks like she has some different forms. So she's using some of the Facebook posts as part of her blog or whatever. So she's not necessarily putting it all in the same place. It's cool
Gotcha.
to have an outlet. And then our last piece as we kind of finish up this portion of the book was that we get into this place with this merchant who was wondering why Santiago wanted to travel, but yet he had a quote unquote obligation to fulfill as a Muslim to actually travel to Mecca at some point. And there's this great conversation between the two. It's like, well, hey, if this is an obligation of yours, why haven't you traveled? And when are you going to travel? And matter of fact, it's funny because as the merchant was recounting this, he was saying, hey, I've seen plenty of people travel to Mecca. Some have been rich, some have been poorer than I. So it wasn't about the money. What it was about was a dream. So even though he had a dream this is what really caught my eye. Even though he had a dream to travel to Mecca, even though it was an obligation based upon the law that he wanted to live, which is the Muslim law, and he wanted to fulfill that, he had a desire to fulfill that obligation. What the merchant had said was that he had already thought about this. He had already dreamed it. He had already seen it. He'd already visualized it. But what he visualized, he had the belief. His belief was on fear that if he actually realized his dreams, he would be disappointed. Let me say that again. He had already visualized this trip with the people that he would be with going to the pray at the place and all of this stuff. But he came to his own realization that if he actually realized his dream, he would be disappointed. And what he said was, it's the thought of Mecca, or the thought of the dream, that keeps the merchant alive. It's the fear. It was a fear. He was afraid to realize his dream. And then he said that some people prefer to simply dream. Now, this really changes. This passage really changed a lot for me, because it helps me to understand that there are some people who just don't want to go.
Oh, that's so good. That's what I got from that, man.
They want to think about going, but they just don't want to go. So sometimes we find ourselves wanting to motivate someone, wanting to inspire someone, wanting to help them get out of their rut, wanting to help them get to the next level. And what this said to me was that there are just some people who just don't want to go. There are some people who don't want their dream. They want to dream about their dream, but they won't want to realize their dream.
That's your guy. That's classic Jim Rome right there. Right? He says, let the 10 do 10, let the 30 do 30, let the 60 do 60, and let the 100 do 100. He says, but don't worry.
How you do that?
Yeah, you see that snow? See that? I think that's a /S. I think if you do /S, I think you can make it snow. I think.
All right, it's cool. It's not a problem. I'll be wondering how y'all come with all these tricks. I'll go ahead.
Yeah, but classic Jim Rohn in that there are just people. There are just some people that are only going to give a certain amount. There are some people that only want to be so conscious, and there's nothing that we can do about that. The only thing that we can do is plant the seed and then allow God to give the increase at the end of the day. It's the only thing that we can do. And so when I read that, that's the same thing that I got as well, is that, man, there's so many people that I want to help. There's so many ideas that I have there, but at the end of the day, I can't get frustrated with my clients or with prospects when I'm sharing with them valuable principles about financial planning and how you need to have the 4 tiers of, finances in order. And if you don't have them, I can give them all of that. But if that's not where they are, if they would much rather just think about one day being financially free, but not necessarily wanting to put in the time to be financially free or the effort to put in to be financially free, then there's nothing that we can do about that. All we can do is plant the seed and let God give the increase.
So at the end of this last passage, I found I think I'm starting to find some little morals, and I took away from this. It says not everyone can see his dreams come true in the same way. Not everyone can see his dreams come true in the same way. And I think for me, that tells me to focus on my dream. Let me say that again. For me, that tells me to focus on my dream.
Right.
If someone comes to me and they want help along the way, as I partner in success, as a coach, I partner in success for other people to realize their dreams. I'll partner with them for their dreams, but I'm still going to focus on my dreams. Not everyone can see his dreams come true in the same way. For the merchant, his dream that came true was him dreaming about his dream. For Santiago, his dream that's coming true is him actually getting to the pyramids, him actually finding his treasure. And I think that's very interesting, because I think about as people get older and getting set in their ways instead of being a person that can learn new tricks. I know some people who will never touch social media because it's new, but I know some older people who are using social media like crazy. Like, matter of fact, a week ago, I saw Les Brown on Blab, and I was like, man, Les Brown on Blab, an 80-year-old man on Blab, but he is saying, hey, I'm not going to die empty. I mean, I'm not going to die full. I'm going to die empty. I'm going to realize and utilize everything that comes along while I'm alive and be a part of it. I'm going to evolve with the times and not just stay where I was. There's some people probably still got 8 tracks and can't even use them. So, man, but not everybody can realize his dreams in the same way. And I thought that was a very powerful statement. And it really helps to put me into a place of like you said, of recognizing that I can help people as much as they want to be helped. I can help people as much as they want to be helped.
No, that's so good. Man, this has been a fantastic blab. I gotta run, and but I'm excited. We have been wealthy. We have been healthy. We have been happy today. What you got for us, ERGJ?
That's it, man. That was the last of the snippet that we were going to. We'll be back tomorrow again with pages 57 and 61. So we'll try to get put it out a little early, let you guys listen to it if you don't have the book. Again, we're going through The Alchemist. And so hopefully this time today has been a blessing to you, inspired you to take advantage of the principle of favorability in your life. This is the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. We're here. Check out the wealthyhealthyhappy.net. That's the website for you to go to and stay connected to us and follow along with what we got going on. But be here tomorrow. and we continue on with the conversation of The Alchemist, a book that can change your life. Get it for your library. I'm ERGJ, your certified financial educator. We got Mr. Beedles in the building.
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much for tuning in today. We will be back. Same bat time, same bat channel. Make sure that you stay inspired. Have the courage to step forward. Do what it is that you know that you have been called to do, and let the universe do the rest.
We are wealthy. We are healthy. We are happy.
And
we are out.
We are